بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بار محمد وآل محمد صلوات. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. Let us begin tonight's program with the recitation of the Holy Quran. I would like to request Brother Ali Zain to please come forward and recite the Quran for us with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajah.
محمد وآل محمد صلوات. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والتين والزيتون وطور سينين وهذا البلد الأمين. لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم. ثم رددناه أسفل سافلين إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات فلهم أجر غير ممنون. فما يكذبك بعد بالدين. أليس الله بأحكم الحاكمين. صدق الله العلي العظيم.
Jazakallah for that beautiful recitation. One more loud salawat for him, please. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum. I would now like to request our young Hussein Saadi to please come forward and recite some poetry with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. A poem for Imam Hassan is what I'm going to read. For I know this is a great deed. My love for you, Ya Imam, is so true. I will shout Hussein, heartbroken, if only you knew. And my whenever you spoke, her heart was touched. Without resting day and night, you fought against Yazid to show everyone what's right. I saw your heart in deep pain. In Karbala, you were slain. Soon the women and children were left in chains. You all did not fight in vain. Thanks to you, Islam was saved. We are living and breathing your name. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
MashaAllah, that was beautiful. One more loud salawat, please. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum. I will now like to request Brother Ali Zain to please come forward to recite a salam with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum.
محمد وآل محمد صلوات. محمد وآل محمد صلوات. پیکاں برس رہے ہیں تابوت پہ حسن کے پیکاں برس رہے ہیں تابوت پہ حسن کے مٹا رہی ہے آثار پنجتن کے امت مٹا رہی ہے آثار پنجتن کے پیکاں برس رہے ہیں تابوت پہ حسن کے بابا کے دل کے ٹکڑے دل ڈوبتا ہے میرا زینب پکاری بھائی دل ڈوبتا ہے میرا اگلو نہ دل کے ٹکڑے صدقے گئی دہن کے زینب ہے بال کھولے امت ہے تیر تولے زینب ہے بال کھولے امت ہے تیر تولے پوچھو نہ شام کی جب یہ حال ہے وطن کے تل پر تو ہے حسن کے گوچھد گیا ہے سارا تل پر تو ہے حسن کے گوچھد گیا ہے سارا محتاج ہی رہیں گے شبیر تو کفن کے پیکاں برس رہے ہیں تابوت پر حسن کے بر محمد و آل محمد صلوات.
Jazakallah, Brother Ali. One more loud salawat for him, please. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajhum. Just a quick reminder for tomorrow night's program. Tomorrow's night's program, inshallah, will begin at 6:30 p.m. and not 6:45, as it is also a Barsi Majlis for the Ithal Thawab of Marhum Amin Haidar, son of Manzoor ul Abbas Haidar, and all Marhumin of the Haidar family. 6:30 p.m. the program will start with the recitation of Surah Yasin. Inshallah, the speech is scheduled to begin the same time as today, around 7:05 p.m. Let us please recite a Surah Fatiha for the Marhumin of tonight's program sponsors, and let us please also include our own Marhumin and the Marhumin of the Ummah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. I would now like to request Sheikh Amin to please come to the member and request everyone to please come forward so that people who come later can find place in the hall with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين واللعن الدائم على أعدائهم أجمعين. My condolences to the brothers and sisters on these sorrowful nights and these nights that are dedicated to our beloved Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. So when we think about the Ahlul Bayt, when we think especially about the likes of Imam Hassan alayhi salam, what comes to mind is just pure sheer love for the Imam, yes? And the same will apply to all of the other Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, this love that we have for them. Now, this is something that I'm always bringing up here and there. This love of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam is like a double-edged sword, so to speak, because it's so powerful that sometimes you feel like you have everything you need as a result of this love of the Imams, right? To the point that, it might even push us to believe practically, to practically make us believe that, okay, we're set then. This is not a theme that's peculiar to today. This is something that you can see signs of it and traces of it during the time of the Imams as well, that they were upset about this. The fact that their lovers, they love them so much, but it's as if this is going to be everything for them in building their akhirah. And so I don't want to say that the love of the Ahlul Bayt is just something that is a means. No, it seems that in and of itself, the love of Ahlul Bayt has a special value. It's an ibadah itself, okay? But at the same time, what you find in the same literature that speaks of the importance of this love, the same literature is going to point out that you have to be careful not to think that this is going to be everything for you as well. In the sense that, okay, I have the love of Ahlul Bayt, so I can relax when it comes to my life, when it comes to the practices, the wajib and haram. Imams will take care of that. In Farsi, there's a little joke that they'll say that you'll tell them, Allah, if you have love of Ahlul Bayt so much, be careful because, that might not be everything. And they'll say, Baba, ishq Hazrat Abbas natuna akhirat durust kone, pas pe che dardi mikhore. Which means that if the love of Hazrat Abbas can't fix my akhirah, then what good is that, Right? So it's a double-edged sword because it's not a wrong statement either. Yeah, love of Hazrat Abbas, it does wonders. But at the same time, the same ones who have told us to love, they're telling us to also be careful that this love pushes us in the direction it's supposed to push us. So you're like, okay, is it a means? Is it an ends? This love of Ahlul Bayt, which one is it? It's both, it seems. It's kind of like wudu. Wudu in and of itself is an ibadah. But when we talk about wudu, what comes to mind is that, this is a preliminary step. It's a muqaddimah for salat. So someone might ask, does that mean that wudu in and of itself has no value? No. In and of itself, it's an ibadah as well. Even if you're not going to pray, yes, you make wudu, it's nur. Yeah. But in the end, we all know that there's no salat without wudu. So it's as if Salat is the ultimate objective, although in and of itself, it has value, this wudu. Same thing here. Love of Ahlul Bayt, no one's going to say, oh, it is just a means. Just a means for me to love Ahlul Bayt so that I know that I get my deen from them and all of that. No, in and of itself, it has value. That's what seems is what the sources are telling us. But at the same time, there is an ultimate objective in mind. In other words, if the same way, if a person does wudu all their life but they don't have salat, there's going to be a problem. The same way, if someone has love of Ahlul Bayt but it doesn't show itself in their lives practically, by them trying at least to follow the example of the Ahlul Bayt, when it comes to the boring things too, like wajib and haram, yeah, people are always like, oh, the wajib and haram is dry. Yeah, everything that matters is usually dry. Cardio, who likes cardio? But that they say you have to do it. And I know a lot of people out there say, oh, it's a scam. Cardio doesn't do anything. Yeah, but still, you'll see that people are doing cardio. Yeah, same thing here. Love of Ahlul Bayt is pretty cool. Wajib and haram, not so much sometimes. Yeah, but in the end, yeah, this seems that it's an ends, but also a means as well. Inshallah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. So, having said all of that, on this night of Imam Hassan alayhi salam, where we love him as much as we love Imam Hussein alayhi salam, yes, I want to narrate to you a hadith by the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alihi. When the 6-foot+ guy can barely reach the water, you know there's a problem. It's too far. But anyway, this hadith by the Holy Prophet, it tells us that, it reminds us of this matter. But you know, the Prophet, he doesn't say it directly. He says it indirectly. Recite another salawat, please. He says it indirectly, like, hey people, if you have love of Ahlul Bayt, this is what your life is supposed to look like. He doesn't say it directly the way I just did. Like, hey people, if you don't do this, what value does it have for you? He doesn't say it like that. Because when you say it like that, you make it sound like the love itself has no value. No, the love itself has value. That's not the beauty of the words of the Prophet. That he will word it in a way, he is letting you know that in and of itself, it has value, and at the same time, it won't do much for you if it doesn't bring about something else in your life as well. This is how he words it. So in this hadith by this famous companion of his, Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, it says that the Prophet, he said that there are 10 things you gain in this life as a result of love of Ahlul Bayt. The Imams of my Ahlul Bayt, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the Imams of my Ahlul Bayt. Okay, which is very specific here. He says 10 things you will get out of it. And you're thinking, okay, probably health, wealth, good life, good wife, you know what I'm saying? Right? So, when you look at these 10 though, you see that no, it's not even about that. It's something else. And then he says, you will get 10 things in this life as a result of the love of the Imams of my Ahlul Bayt. And there will be 10 things in the Akhirah for you as well, as a result of the love of my Ahlul Bayt. Okay? He didn't say, if you don't have these, you're not going to make it and all of that. He didn't say if you don't have love, or if you have love but you don't have these, you're not going to make it. You know what he does? He says, if you have their love, automatically these things should happen. Me as the listener, I understand, I can deduce from this that, oh, that means if these 10 things that he's mentioning aren't there in my life one way or another, when it's time to leave this dunya, then maybe the love I had wasn't real love. He lets you take care of that part and figure that part out. Yeah? Sometimes you say something directly, sometimes you say it like this for a reason. And so he doesn't even say, if you don't have these 10, you're not going to make it. He leaves that to you to understand that if you don't have these 10, you probably are not going to make it because you probably don't have real love. He leaves that premise out for us to figure out, and it's pretty clear. Anyway, what are these 10 things? It says that قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من رزقه الله حب الأئمة من أهل بيتي. Whoever is blessed with love of the Imams of my Ahlul Bayt. So according to us, it's the 12 Imams, right? الأئمة من أهل بيتي فَقَدْ أَصَابَ خَيْرَ الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ. This person has reached the khair of dunya and akhirah. Okay? So you're thinking, okay, the dunya part is the good stuff, the akhirah is the blessings and stuff. But even the dunya part, he doesn't give us. Look what he says. He says, فَلَا يَشُكَّنَّ أَحَدٌ أَنَّهُ فِي الْجَنَّةِ. This person should never doubt that they are going to be in Jannah. So for those of us who think love of Ahlul Bayt is going to do everything for us, hold your ears from this part onwards, okay? Let's hold our ears from this part onwards. Okay, because then he starts listing things and you're like, come on, Rasulullah, we thought we were good. Yeah? He says, don't have any doubt that you're in Jannah because of love of Ahlul Bayt. Okay, I see no one's holding their ears, so we'll go on. He says, for verily, fi hubbi ahli bayti 20 khaslatan. There's 20 things that come out of it. 10 in this dunya, 10 in the akhirah. 10 منها في الدنيا 10 منها في الآخرة أما التي في الدنيا. All right, let me list for you the ones that come up as a result of your love of Ahlul Bayt in this dunya. What are those 10 prizes? What are those 10 outcomes? Of course the first one's going to be wealth, right? He says the first one is actually something a little opposite to that. He says أما التي في الدنيا فالزهد, number 1. If you love my Ahlul Bayt and the Imams of my Ahlul Bayt, the first thing that you will probably have in you is that you will have some zuhd in you. Now, as we go through this list, I don't want a parent to look at their 15-year-old child and be like, smack him in the head and be like, listen, all right, I want all of these 10 to show themselves from tomorrow in you. No, we have a lifetime for this. We have a lifetime to achieve this, inshallah. In other words, brothers and sisters, and younger people, you're not off the hook, by the way. All right, we're supposed to plan things out in our life so that when it's time to go, and inshallah we've lived a full life, 60, 70, 80, 100 years, whatever, that when it's time to go, we see that, okay, these have materialized in my life. I can't expect my 15-year-old to accomplish all of this right now. But at the same time, I do expect my 15-year-old, 14, 13-year-old who's listening to see, oh, so that is what is the expectation is, and I have a lifetime for this, but I need to plan from now and practice from now, right? Same way you guys practice driving when you're 12. Well, at least that's what we did in Iran. Here you can't do that. All right, so number 1, zuhud. What does zuhud mean? Very quickly, yes, zuhud doesn't, we've all heard, zuhd doesn't mean you don't possess things. Zuhd means you're not too attached to them. Yeah? I like to put it like this. Zuhd will tell us that the bare minimum of it, I would say, is that I'm not going to compromise my akhirah for anything of the dunya. Right? In other words, when I'm doing things, when I'm going out, when I'm with my friends, this, that, I want to say something, I want to do something, I want to eat something, I'll ask myself before it, hey, is this gonna cause problems for my afterlife? It's not okay, Otherwise, I don't have that bare minimum of zuhd. Zuhd will have a maximum, will have a minimum. This I would say, is the minimum practically. But if you want to take a little step further than that, you'll say that, okay, a person, their whole ham and gham is not matters of the dunya. And even if they go after matters of the dunya, it's because they know they live in this dunya and Allah has made it incumbent upon them to make a halal living in this life. Oh Allah, I'm buying a car and I'm going to buy a nice car, above average, because you told me to try to live a comfortable life and make it comfortable for my family. Yeah? That's why I'm chasing dunya. I'm not chasing dunya in and of itself because I know it's going to be temporary. Eventually, we're going to lose it. Yeah. So I would say that would be the bare minimum of it. A sign of this, as Nahj al-Balagha says, is that, and Imam Ali in Nahj al-Balagha, he quotes the Quran on this. He says, look, if you want a sign of whether or not you have zuhd, is that if you lose something in this life, and you've heard this before, right? If you lose something in this life, you don't get too upset about it to the point where it's as if you lost everything. Because no, you still have akhirah, inshallah. And if you gain something, you don't become so happy as if you have everything now, because there's an akhirah that you still haven't gone to, so we better make sure we secure that. So dunya it deserves as much from us as it deserves, no more than that. It deserves 60, 70, 80 years. That's all it deserves. It doesn't deserve infinity of my attention, all of my attention. No, it doesn't. As zuhd. So number one, the Prophet says, you love my Ahlul Bayt, you'll have zuhd. Why? You look up to them. What do you see in them? You see them kind of turning away from dunya, not too interested in it. If they're interested in it, it's the amount that, every now and then you want to have a good time. Every now and then you want to have halal recreation. It's all good. But other than that, really, like, I'm going to, the guy says, what's your goals in life? My goals in life is, I want to shoot for the stars. I want to be a billionaire. Well, Habibi, like, be a millionaire, okay? Because becoming a billionaire is much harder than just being a millionaire. Millionaire should be good enough for the next 50, 60 years. You know what I'm saying? Some people, like, it's as if they're living here forever. All right? They're in the billions. They're in that conversation. No, that conversation is not worth it. Trust me. Now, having said all of that, though, if some of you want to go, it's fine as long as, you donate here. All right. So that's number one, zuhd. I see my Imams were like that, so why not I be like that? That's real love, These kids who look up to LeBron, these ones, always wearing their shoes, looking like them, trying to be like them, and all that kind of stuff. I look up to these ones, and this is what I see in them. That guy wants to have 500 pairs of sneakers. That's what matters to them. And since I look up to them, that's what I'm going to try to do. But for us as Shia, if they're the ultimate role models, then I'm going to follow their example. This is how their life looks, inshallah. Recite a salawat, please, brothers, and if you can move forward, I'd appreciate it. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. I've been lecturing for many years now. It's interesting, I never figured this out. You walk into the hall for the lectures, like 3.5 people sitting. And then as you're lecturing, all of a sudden there's full, you got to move forward. I've never figured out how this evolution works. We'll have to see if Darwin has anything to say about this. Number one, az-zuhd. Number two, al-hirsu ala al-amal. A person who loves Ahlul Bayt, looks up to Ahlul Bayt, the Prophet is saying, who is going to secure Jannah and should have no doubt that they're going to have Jannah as a result of this love. Their love will push them to have al-hirsu ala al-amal. Hirs means obsession. When you're passionate about something, when that is your everything, that's all that matters to you. Amal means to act, to get stuff done, to work. Now, this amal is in a general sense. We'll talk about more amal as we get forward. But in a general sense, generally speaking, a proper Muslim, a proper Shia, a proper lover of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, when you look at them, this guy is not wasting time. They want to get stuff done. They want to work. The Quran talks about the Prophet. It says, فَإِذَا فَرَغْتَ فَانْصَبْ. O Prophet, when you're done with something, we want to see you get up and get something else done after that. And so, for younger ones that are listening, it's a time to practice, guys, so that when you reach your 20s and 30s, you're not lazy like some that we see. Now is the time to practice not sitting idle and not being productive in life. Okay? Because if I don't do that now, trust me, I'm not going to have the time to be productive later when I'm a nobody. Okay? When I'm a nobody and I have responsibilities, I have mouths to feed and so on, there's no time then to accomplish anything. Now's the time for you guys to accomplish. And the biggest enemy of that is laziness, I would say. The opposite of it is hirs ala al-amal. Okay? If I'm scrolling through my phone or screen or whatever it is, inshallah when I'm 17, 18 years old, because Sheikh Saad is here, and I'm looking at the stuff, all right, well, why not watch something that might teach me something and is also entertaining, not just pure entertainment. Halal entertainment, because Sheikh is here. Yes? So, Sheikh Saad is never going to come to my lectures again. All right, so, al-hirsu ala al-amal. The Imams, you read their stories, I look up to you, I love you so much. Well, when you read their stories, these guys were not wasting time. Imam Ali, he's always busy generating wealth for himself and the community, and then when he generates it for himself, he uses it on the community. That's what the stories are telling us. And then my guy has a Zulfaqar necklace. All right, cool, but maybe it was nice to have a Zulfaqar necklace and also next to it, a Quran necklace, because the Imam was all about Quran as well, and another necklace with what on it? With one of those, what do they call them? Those picks. that show work. Well, that's kind of like reminds you of communism, the Soviet Union. But you know what I'm trying to get at here? A shovel or something that represents work. Because the Imams were about all these things as well. Yeah? Trust me, you and I might never get a chance to swing a sword left and right, but we get the chance to work hard at least to be like the Imams. To read and educate ourselves at least, yeah? Al-hirsu ala al-amal. The Prophet says, you love them, you look up to them so much. Well, I mean, if you really love somebody, you kind of look like them and dress like them and act like them. Well, it shows itself in how much hirs you have on when it comes to getting work done. Al-wara' fi ad-din, the next one. Wara' fi ad-din. And so usually they'll say wara' and taqwa, they're kind of synonymous, but wara' is an extra caution a person will take when it comes to their deen. Who wants to walk on the edge of a cliff? Yeah? You've seen those little videos of, those buses in Pakistan, and they're going around those mountains in Gilgit and those other places, and you're like, even if you don't fall off, it's so scary that you die. Yeah? Who drives on the edge of the road when there's a cliff? Yeah? The deen, we're talking akhirah here. We're talking about the afterlife, which is eternal and infinite. I'm not going to compromise, and I'm not going to jeopardize when it comes to my akhirah. I'm selfish when it comes to these things. The only time it's good to be selfish, brothers and sisters, is when it comes to our akhirah. I don't want to lose a second of the akhirah in punishment and azab. I want to have it completely. Islam wants that from us. Yeah, you want to call it selfishness, you want to call it something else. I want all of it. The Quran will tell us, want all of it, work for all of it. I'm not going to compromise there. Okay, well, if there's a chance you might lose it, it's like those races that they have, they put an egg in a spoon. Yeah, one of those laghwiyat that they do. And sometimes it might end in israf because the egg falls. When you have that egg, are you going to run the same way you would run if you're holding a football? Of course not. So you're going to take precaution a little bit more. Stay away from the edge. Oh, my son, my daughter, I've heard this from religious people. I'm surprised that this is said sometimes. My son and daughter, they are living in this country. So I want them to be in the middle of all of the whatever's going on out there. Of all the filth that might be out there. So that they can learn how to navigate. Okay, I understand what you're saying. But we're not talking about normal stuff here. We're talking about akhirah. What if the filth out there rubs off on my child in those formative years of 6, 7, 8 years old, let's say. And before I know it, they've drifted off, not even knowing what happened. Yeah? No, they have to be raised. Well, okay, I can understand. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when we were growing up, there weren't too many Islamic schools out there. But nowadays, you see that people are waking up to this reality that what? Oh, we better be careful. They're moving from different cities to different cities, other cities. Why? Because there's an Islamic school. Why? Al-wara' fi ad-din. We have to be very careful about these things. No, this is not something that you can joke about. This is not something that we can not be careful about. Oh, you know what? It's okay. We're living in this country. I don't care where we're living. Even if you live in Pakistan and Iran right now, your deen is still in trouble. These are the times that we're in, brothers and sisters. And yes, quarantining is, I would say, one of the most effective ways. No guarantees, obviously, in life. Everyone has their tests. Still, some kids might grow up in an Islamic school, but the tests, they'll still fail. I don't know. But look, we do our part. We try our best. We take precaution. Al-wara' fi ad-din. Why? Because the Imams did that. Don't you love the Imams? Al-wara' fi ad-din. Oh, my friends are going to go out to this place, this environment, very haram environment, but I'm going to keep my head down. Bro, what are you talking about? Take some precaution. Don't go in that environment because there's a chance you might mess up. No, what matters is that if we're in a bad environment and we have taqwa, well, that's not what the ulama did. The ulama would stay away from all those haram environments. You really want to go hard on yourself? Don't put yourself in a haram environment and then say, inshallah, I'll have taqwa, because it's one of them, inshallah. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those ones. No, say, I'm going to keep myself in healthy, halal environments, and if I want to do something nice, I'll add salat al-layl to my regimen, my spiritual regimen. Let's do that. Why should the struggle be for staying away from haram only if I have the chance? I'll choose, instead of, choose between haram and halal versus halal and even better than that. Well, let's do that then. That's the mistake sometimes we make. That's what life is all about. No, life's not all about that. Yeah? When are we going to do Salat al-Layl then? When are we supposed to do it? Well, in these cases, if you feel like, you want to do more, don't put yourself in a haram environment and say, Alhamdulillah, I came out victorious. No. Instead, what you do is you keep yourself in a halal environment so that you have tawfiq to wake up at 4 a.m. if really you want hardship. That's number 3. Number 4. Ar-raghbatu fil ibadah. Okay. As you can tell, like things get a little bit harder now. Ar-raghba fil ibadah. So and so, why do you look up to so and so? Why do you play 8 hours a day basketball and practice 8 hours a day basketball? Because that's what this superstar athlete does. Right? Do you enjoy it? I enjoy it. Why? Because he enjoys it. The sweat, blood, and tears. My role model takes pleasure in practicing 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day. That's why I'm going to take pleasure in it. That's what some kids will say. Here it says the Imams would take pleasure in and were inclined towards, not as if it was something that would turn them off or they're forced to do. They were inclined towards ibadah and worship. Now this doesn't happen overnight. But if a person continues trying to follow the footsteps of the Imams, inshallah, Allah puts a nur in our heart that we take a little bit of pleasure in ibadah as well. In other words, when I look at that bodybuilder that has those big guns, whatever they call them, right? And I'm like, I want that. Okay, you want that? No problem. You want that? That's the ultimate goal that you're after. Fine, no problem. But it takes time. You have to work towards it. I want this ultimate outcome of having inclination and love towards ibadah. Okay, why? Because the Imams were like that. Okay, what are the steps towards that? Maybe have less distractions in life. Maybe have a little bit more taqwa throughout the day. Stay away from haram a little bit more so that this heart, is pointing towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more, so that when I pray and I have ibadah, it's not a turn off for me. Maybe try to pay attention a little bit more in the salat as well. These are all things that we can do at least, so that Allah blesses us with a better ibadah. Here it says raghba fil ibadah. It doesn't say they make sure they do their ibadah. It says they are inclined towards ibadah. Once again, it doesn't happen overnight. Once again, I'm not going to tell my 15-year-old, make sure you love namaz from this day forward. No. But inshallah, when I'm 40, 50, 60, as we mature more and more and more, we see salat for what it really is. And because of that, we have raghba towards it. We have inclination and love towards it. Number 5, he says, وَالتَّوْبَةُ قَبْلَ الْمَوْتِ. If you love the Imams of my Ahlul Bayt, well, none of us are infallible. We make mistakes, we commit sins. But at least we understand how important the akhirah is, that I try my best, first of all, not to repeat that sin. And second of all, I wipe it off of my slate before I go and leave this world. So a person who really loves Ahlul Bayt sees that for them, everything that matters is the akhirah. And so they're going to be super careful that even if there's something problematic that's going to hurt the afterlife, they take care of it in this life. And so they try to erase it in this life. How do you erase a sin in this life? You erase it with tawbah. Okay, how do I know my tawbah is accepted though? Well, the hadith tells us, if you ever see that you don't go back to that sin, then the tawbah has been accepted. Look at how awesome Allah is, right? Look at how great Allah is. In other words, brothers and sisters, your tawbah is always accepted. The problem is that it's accepted until I do it again. Okay, then I need another tawbah here. But we're not going to fool ourselves. We're not going to try to fool Allah, because that don't work. And so I'm going to try at least. I'm going to try to show Allah, oh Allah, I'm trying. I keep failing, but I'm going to try at least. This time I failed because I went into the wrong environment. Next time I'm not going to go into this environment. This time I made this mistake. I clicked where I wasn't supposed to click. 2 extra clicks, whatever. I won't do that anymore. Because it's a slope that when I fall on, I slip down. I don't want that anymore. I'll take care of those things that push me in that direction at least. We have to show Allah that we're trying, even if we keep failing. Yeah. But then it says, at-tawbatu qabla al-maut. Before you die, make sure you do tawbah. That's what the hadith says. So someone might say, you know what, we'll just wait until the end, and then we'll do tawbah. when I was growing up, back in the day, still growing up actually, but yeah, when I was growing up, this kid told me this once. He's like, you know what I figured out? I was like, what'd you figure out? It's like, I'm going to do whatever I like in life, and then when it's time to go, I'm going to do tawbah. I was like, man, that makes so much sense. It really appealed to me back then. Now I laugh at that. Why? It is a good idea if God sends you a note that says, hey, brother, you will be leaving this dunya, I don't know, December 15th, 2056. If I have such a note from Allah that tells me when I'm going to die, you know what I'll do? December 15th, oh Allah, December 15th. And then He'll say in His voice, yes, December 15th. And so then I'll say, okay, we'll go till December, just to be on the safe side, December 10th we'll do a lot of haram. After that we'll do tawbah, because it said tawbah qabla al-maut. You know, Allah, I like you. Forget about 5 days before. I'll do tawbah 1 year before. 2055 I'll do tawbah. But the rest of these 55 years, how many? We got 30 years left till then? Yeah, let's partay. Huh? That, if we had a note from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that would be how it works. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be up here right now. But none of us have such a note. Allah never told us, which is very cool, how Allah does it. He doesn't tell us when we're going to die. We know we are going to die. Because He never told us when it's going to happen, we think we're never going to die. Isn't that nice? How Allah has done it, man. We know we're going to die, but because we don't know when it's going to happen, we think we're never going to die. And that's exactly where the test is. We think that we're going to be here forever, although we know we're not going to be here forever. It's crazy how Allah has done it. Really props to Allah. I mean, they call Him God for a reason, it seems. That He did, if He had told us, just told us when it's going to happen, think about how many things in our lives, things would change. He didn't tell us. He also says in the Quran, if I'm not mistaken, وَلَا تَعْلَمُ نَفْسٌ بِأَيِّ أَرْضٍ تَمُوتُ, that no one knows even where they're going to die. Forget about when, even where. It's beautiful. Because of that, we think we're eternal in this life. So if a person wants to make sure that they do tawbah before maut and death, what are they supposed to do? Right when they do the wrong deed, right there they're supposed to do tawbah. Because I don't know about 10 minutes from now even. Forget about December 15, 2026, 2056. You know? So the Prophet is making a point here. My Ahlul Bayt, everything for them that matters is the akhirah. And so they're going to make sure that if there's anything wrong, which of course we don't believe that they would do anything wrong, but they are going to ask for forgiveness for anything they've done wrong before they leave this world. But to make sure you can do it before you leave this world, when you're supposed to do this tawbah? Right when you committed the sin. And I'm going to try my best to fix myself after that. So true, it says before death. But practically, what does that lead us to? Right after the wrongdoing is when we're supposed to do tawbah, inshallah. So that's half of them, half of this list. Recite salawat. Number 6. Number 6 says, okay, see, it's getting even worse now. An-nashatu fi qiyam al-layl. So, if you remember, it said hirs ala al-amal. It's very important to them to do amal. Okay. Out of all the amals, it says ar-raghbatu fil ibadah. Out of all the deeds that are out there, when it comes to worship, they're inclined towards worship. The lovers of Ahlul Bayt, that's how they are. Out of all the worships, now this one is singled out. I'm going to go through it very quickly because, yeah, you know. It says, Nashat fi qiyam al-layl, that this person who loves Ahlul Bayt, they are all about liveliness when it comes to waking up in the middle of the night. Obviously for worship, right? For Salat al-Layl. It's not that you have inclination. It's not that you have hirs. It's more than that. Sometimes you're obsessed with something because you know it's going to help you reach your desired outcomes. Yeah? Do you ask all these athletes, do you like cardio? They say, we hate cardio. Then why do you do it? Because this is the only thing that's going to, this is the only thing that's going to work for me to get to my goal. All right. So you have hirs on it, but it's not that you are inclined towards it. Sometimes, no, it's more than that, you're inclined. We had that in the hadith. It said they have inclination towards ibadah in general. But now, It's gone even further than that. It says, وَالنَّشَاطِ. Nashat means liveliness. When you're looking forward to something, yeah? When you feel good about it. That, it says, for Salat al-Layl. All right? As I said, we'll just pass this one quickly. Nashat fi qiyam al-layl. Sometimes, let me say this on the side. Our lives are such that we don't have the opportunity for this because we won't get enough rest in the day. Think about it. Month of Ramadan, you have to wake up for Sahri probably. You have school, take the kids to school. You have to go to work, all that kind of stuff. There's a program at the night, and it's wajib to go to the programs as well probably. And so I'll be destroyed if I try to wake up an hour earlier. Okay, it's understandable. Outside of Ramadan, same thing. And so I don't want us to feel guilty about all of this. But at least once every now and then, when I do wake up, I have this nashat and all of that, inshallah. Okay, thank you. The other one was open though, this one's closed still. Anyway, see when in Farsi we have a saying this is a saying everywhere, when the first foundation is problematic, the whole building is problematic. So the table, inshallah, will fix that. Number 7. Al-ya'su mimma fi aydin nas. Now this one's I like this one. Ya'as means hopelessness. Okay? Hopelessness. Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, I love you so much. I want to be like you. When you look at Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, they never cared what is in the hands of others, what the status of another person is, how much this person can, take care of me versus not take care of me, that kind of thing. Why? Because they are engulfed in Tawheed. Everything for them is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they see the rest they see as a means. Yeah? And so if you ask them, what do you have hope in? Imam Sadiq, you are disseminating the knowledge of Islam to the people. Who do you have hope in to be the ones who disseminate this? He'll probably tell you, okay, I have these students, I have this Zurara, I have Muhammad bin Muslim, Abu Basir, I have these ones. But he'll never say, I have hope, my hopes are in them. Yeah? He'll say, these are the ones that inshallah are going to do this. Who's your hope in then? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To the point that we all have hadiths, the ones that those of us who think that without us the center, the community is going to collapse and all of that. Yeah? The hadith will tell us that, look, don't worry about the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah? The deen of Allah will even be upheld and established even by some of the worst even. Okay? But rajul al-fasiq or fajr, I think the hadith says. A person who commits the major sins even, and is a tyrant sometimes even, will be the one that Allah through that person will even preserve Islam. Don't worry about it. You don't have to destroy your akhirah trying to keep the center going if it means that I have to compromise on some other things. Because Islam needs me. No man, Islam don't need you. Alright? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take care of things. The Imams of Ahlul Bayt have reached this point where they see this. They actually see it. Okay? Now, for me and you, inshallah, when I'm leaving this dunya, at least I've reached some tawheed that will allow me to see Allah before everything, after everything, within everything, the hand of Allah working, inshallah. To the point where, not that I don't understand that if anything's going to happen, it's going to happen through the help of others and all of that, but where is my hope in? It said, al-ya'su mimma fi aydin nas. To have hopelessness. This guy can take care of me, so put all my hope in that person? No, because that person that sometimes can help us the most, sometimes is the one that backstabs us the most. I don't know how it works with Allah's system, and all I know is that there's one person I can put my hope in himself, and that's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so as a result, I will lose all hope in everything else out there. I will see them as means. I'll see this as a tool, this object, that. But in the end, I know that the effect is coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah? Al-ya'su mimma fi aydin nas. This, brothers and sisters, in my humble opinion, is one of those things that is supposed to be achieved after a lifetime. This tawheed. Yes, this seeing Allah in everything, to the point where I lose hope in everything else and everybody else. Man, some of these clips that we see of our great ulama, there was one of them, Sheikh Mujtahidi, he's famous in Tehran. And he was everyone knew he was passing away. And he's on the bed of the hospital, and they asked him, they said, so, are you going to miss do you think you're going to miss your grandchildren, this, that, and all that? Who are you going to be thinking about the most? It's, the time is coming and all that. He's like, I don't care about anybody. And he didn't say it in a disrespectful way. Yeah? But he was like, I don't care about, I don't care. Like his heart is somewhere else right now. It's like almost time. Come on. Who cares about anything? Some have reached this point at the deathbed, or will reach it after the deathbed. Some have reached it 40 years before they die. Al-ya'su mimma fi aydin nas. Oh, I want to be like this person, that person. Well, okay, be like them. I want to be like the Ahlul Bayt. I love them so much. Well, this is what it's supposed to look like when it's time to leave this dunya. And it starts from now. For all of us, young and old, including myself. Next one. Do you love Ahlul Bayt? Yes, I do. وَالْحِفْظُ لِأَمْرِ اللَّهِ وَنَهْيِهِ. In the end, the Imams were all about the wajib and haram of Allah. Yes? So I'm going to be all about the wajib and haram of Allah. It says they preserve, the wajib and haram of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're very careful about the wajib and haram of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number 9, بُغْضُ الدُّنْيا. Okay, it reaches a point where it's not just zuhud. You just don't like the dunya anymore because you know that this is what can get you in big trouble. Do any of us like, I don't know, let's just use the example of COVID. Does anybody like COVID out there? No one likes COVID. Why? Because that can be what takes my life. It can be, but bichara, COVID do to you, it's out there, you're sitting, let's say you're in some other planet, it's never going to affect you. Yeah, but do I still like COVID? No, because it is something that can take somebody's life. Do you like that which might, that which can take your akhirah from you? No. What's that? It's called dunya. So the Imams, not only were they not too interested, it seems that, based on the wording here, bughd means, that bughd, we know where we use that word usually for bughd, dushman Ahlul Bayt, right? Bughd is not just zuhud, it's more than that. So this person looks up to the Imams and reaches a point where they don't really care too much at all. Like the guy who said, I don't care about anything anymore. And number 10, al-ashira, the hardest one for last. There will be people who will have zuhd, who will have hirs ala al-amal, will have this, will have that, will have this, will have that, will have all of these 9. Wal-ashira. Number 10 though, as-sakha, generosity. Don't take my money. Take my life, don't take my money. Yeah? And so we don't have time to get into this one. There's some things to unpack here, but we don't have time for that. So, question, brothers and sisters, these are the 10. Okay? Ahlul Bayt were generous. Obviously, if I want to follow their footsteps, I'm going to be generous as well. May Allah bless the brothers and sisters who give their time, energy, wealth in this way. Now, I have a question. If I were to come up to you one day and say, hey, there's somebody out there who is zahid, who is haris ala al-amal, who is has wara' fi al-din, has raghba fi al-ibadah, has tawbah qabla al-maut, has this, has that, has this, has that. And I list all these 10 things to you. And then I ask you, do you think they're going to make it to Jannah? What's your answer going to be? Your answer would probably, inshallah, is yes, because I don't know what else it's going to take to get to Jannah. Okay. If the answer is yes, then we go back to the beginning of the hadith. What did the beginning of the hadith say? The Prophet said, whoever has love of my Ahlul Bayt, فَلَا يَشُكَّنَّ أَنَّهُ فِي الْجَنَّةِ. This person should not have any doubt that they're going to be in Jannah. That's what the Prophet meant. Oh, because these 10 things, if you have them, you go to Jannah. Duh. Right? But the Prophet connected it to love of Ahlul Bayt. Why? There's a reason for that, it seems. He's trying to make this point that, look, love of Ahlul Bayt, if it doesn't yield these things, be careful. Be careful. He could have just said, hey people, have these 10 things, you go to Jannah. He said, love my Ahlul Bayt. So he's putting his finger on something that if you don't have love of Ahlul Bayt, even if you have these 10 things, it might be a problem. But at the same time, he's also making the point that not having those 10 things, but having love is also a problem. You see how the wording is so concise, yet so expressive, so eloquently said here. So he says, if you have love of my Ahlul Bayt, don't have any doubt that you're going to make it to Jannah. Why? Because a person who has all this good stuff, of course they're going to go to Jannah. So a lover of Ahlul Bayt looks like this. And as a result, you get the 10 things in the Akhirah, which I'll just go over very quickly. It says, as for the ones of the Akhirah, I gave you the 10 of dunya, let me give you the 10 of Akhirah. Obviously, you're going to have these 10 things in the Akhirah because you're such a good person. What are they? Number 1, La yunsharu lahu diwan. They don't open up a book for you to do some calculations, I guess. وَلَا يُنْصَبُ لَهُ مِيزَانٌ. They don't set up any scales for you. You're all good. Head to toe, you're good. يُعْطَى كِتَابَهُ بِيَمِينِهِ. They give their book to their right hand. يُكْتَبُ لَهُ بَرَاءَةٌ مِنَ النَّارِ. You're safe from hellfire. يَبْيَضُّ وَجْهُهُ. Your face is glowing. يُكْسَى مِنْ حُلَلِ الْجَنَّةِ. They give you the adornments of Jannah. يَشْفَعُ فِي مِئَةٍ مِنْ أَهْلِ بَيْتِهِ. You do shafa'a and intercession for 100 people of your family. That itself is beautiful. يَنْظُرُ اللَّهُ عَزَّ وَجَلْ إِلَيْهِ بِالرَّحْمَةِ. Allah will look at you with rahmah and mercy. يُتَوَّجُ مِنْ تِجَانِ الْجَنَّةِ. They will put the crown of the people of Jannah on your head. And number 10, يَدْخُلُ الْجَنَّةَ بِغَيْرِ حِسَابٍ. That you will enter Jannah without any hisab and reckoning. And then the Prophet ends with this and he winks at us. He says, فَطُوبَى لِمُحِبِّي أَهْلِ بَيْتِي. So good for the lovers of my Ahlul Bayt. In other words, wink, wink. I said love, but look at what it entails. He says it very nicely. طُوبَى لِمُحِبِّي. He didn't say طُوبَى لِمَنْ وَجَدَ هَذِهِ هَؤُلَاءِ الْعِشْرِينَ. No, it didn't say good for the ones who have these 20. He said good for the ones who have the love of my Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. All right. So having said that, brothers and sisters, this love is so important because it is an ends and a means together. But then we go to see what happened to these Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam after the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Recite another salawat. Sallallahu alayk, Ya Aba Muhammad, Ya Hassan al-Mujtaba. Some of our scholars, they kind of sometimes sound like they believe that Imam al-Hassan was more madloom than Imam Hussein in a sense, of course. Obviously, Imam Hussein is something else. On these nights, yes, our hearts bleed for the Imam who has no visitor these days. Just a few days ago, Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam had 20 million visiting him. How many did Imam Hassan have, or how many does he have on a night of his shahada? Probably nobody right now. There's nobody in Baqi' in the middle of the night. Our hearts bleed for this Imam. And so that famous story that's been narrated, it says that after Imam Hassan was betrayed and he was going through what he was going through, all the trouble the people gave him, it says that Imam Hussein looked at his brother Imam Hassan in those days and he began crying. And so Imam Hassan says, why are you crying? O Aba Abdullah, O Hussein. He says, I'm crying because of what they've done to you, the betrayal, all of that. Imam Hassan told him, listen, what's going to happen to me later is worse. They're going to poison me as well. They will poison me. And so I will be killed as a result of that poison. وَلَكِنْ لَا يَوْمْ كَيَوْمِكَ يَا أَبَا عَبْدِ اللَّهِ. That, O Aba Abdullah, I will be poisoned, but there's no day like your day, O Hussein. 30,000 will come towards you. They will say that they are from the ummah of our grandfather, the Holy Prophet. They will say we're a Muslim, but they're all coming together to kill you, to take your family, your women, your children as captives and so on. La yawm ka yawmika ya Aba Abdullah. But as I said, although Imam Hussein is very madloom, Imam Hassan is also madloom in this sense, brothers and sisters. Because Imam al-Hassan is the lone commander. Imam Hussein wasn't alone at the end of the day. He had the best around him. If Imam Hussein prays on the day of Ashura and they protect him, his companions protect him so he can pray, they say when Imam Hassan was praying, his own people pulled the sajjada from under his feet. If Imam Hussein tells Lady Zaynab that he trusts his companions on the night of Ashura, Imam al-Hassan never had that trust, to the point that they say he would wear his armor in the presence of his own soldiers because they might just take his life. This is how he's madloom. They say that if Imam Hussein didn't have to worry about his companions betraying him, his own companions, Imam Hassan, stabbed him, a deep cut in his thigh they put, because he couldn't trust them. This is Imam Hassan. If Imam Hussein has a wife like Rubab, who they say 1 year after Karbala, she never stood in the shade, because she said, how can I go under the shade when Imam Hussein's body was under the hot burning sun? His face is disfigured under the hot sun that's blazing, to the point that they mutilated his face, they say. How can I go under the shade? 1 year Rubab didn't go under the shade. Imam al-Hassan's wife, the one that he's supposed to find companionship in, poisoned him to death. And so it says here that a person by the name of Junada said the Imam would stop breathing and I'd see his face turn yellow and pale and he wouldn't be able to speak anymore. This poison, what's it doing to Imam al-Hassan? Allah knows. It says, I entered upon Imam al-Hassan and noticed the container in front of him. He is throwing up blood clots. Brothers and sisters, this isn't just blood. They say these are pieces of the liver of Imam al-Hassan. It's as if you have swallowed and ingested this acid that's going to cut you up from the inside. He says, why don't you take care of yourself, Imam? Get some treatment. The Imam says, oh Janada, how is one supposed to cure death? In other words, this is what's going to take my life. There is no cure to this. The poison is doing its thing, brothers and sisters. It says it was at this moment that Imam Hussein entered with a person by the name of Aswad. When Imam Hussein saw Imam Hassan moved to be able to hug his beloved brother Hussein. Kissed him between his eyes. Imam Hussein kisses Imam al-Hassan between his eyes, sits next to him. They have some words. After some time, it says, Junada says, I heard the cry of Aswad, Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. As-Sibt al-Akbar has left this world. There's only one more left, Imam Hussein. Imam al-Hassan suffered to death. But Imam al-Sajjad says, Ana ibnu man qutila sabra. I am the son who died out of suffering. Imam al-Hussein, Imam Hassan laid, eventually poisoned, eventually his insides cut up. Imam al-Hussein qutila sabra. As he's dying, they don't go and finish the job of Hussein. What do? It says that they left him under the sun for hours. They weren't sure, should we not? No one's willing to go finish the job of Hussein. Imam Hussein suffers, La yawm ka yawmika ya Aba Abdullah. But Imam Hassan, it's as if he says, I want to be part of your day, Hussein. If I'm not there, I will send my flesh and blood. Qasim ibn al-Hassan, Abdullah ibn al-Hassan, Qasim, it reached the point. He calls out his uncle Hussein. Hussein races to Qasim. It says he's digging his heels into the ground. He's in so much pain. Hussein says, I can't do anything for you. It kills me that I can't do anything for you as you call me. Oh Qasim, if that wasn't enough of a test, this orphan of Al-Hassan, there's another orphan of Al-Hassan. All I will say is this, brothers and sisters. It says that Abdullah, after everyone was killed, as Hussein lay in the qatligah, he sees that they're coming to try to finish off Hussein. Abdullah, he says, I'm not going to leave my uncle. Wallah la ufariqu ammi. He races to the qatligah, puts his hand up to defend Hussein. The sword of the enemy comes down, severing the hand of this child, Abdullah ibn al-Hassan, falling in the arms of Abu Abdullah. What a test for Hussein in these last moments. Someone help Hussein. You know how they helped him? They helped him with an arrow. The arrow says that the arrow comes and kills Abdullah in the arms of Abu Abdullah. That final test, as if Al-Hassan says, oh Abu Abdullah, I am going to be a part of your day. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-ali al-azim. وَسَيَعْلَمُ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا أَيَّ مُنْقَلَبٍ يَنْقَلِبُونَ وَالْعَاقِبَةُ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. Matam al-Hussein. Ya Hussein. Ya Hussein. Ya Hussein.
شبیر لا رہے ہیں تابوت مجتبی کا، شبیر لا رہے ہیں تابوت مجتبی کا، شبیر لا رہے ہیں۔ میت پہ ہر طرف سے، میت پہ ہر طرف سے بس تیر آ رہے ہیں، تابوت مجتبی کا، شبیر لا رہے ہیں۔ جن سے ہے آب و دانہ ان کا ہے کیا ٹھکانہ، جن سے ہے آب و دانہ ان کا ہے کیا ٹھکانہ، امت کو رزق دے کر خود زہر کھا رہے ہیں، تابوت مجتبی کا، شبیر لا رہے ہیں، تابوت مجتبی کا۔ اے امتوں کی امت، اے ظلمتوں کی ظلمت، اے امتوں کی امت، اے ظلمتوں کی ظلمت، تیری طرف سے پرسے کو بس تیر آ رہے ہیں، تابوت مجتبی کا، شبیر لا رہے ہیں، تابوت مجتبی کا، شبیر لا رہے ہیں، تابوت مجتبی کا، شبیر لا رہے ہیں۔ تیرائے چاہے پتھر، نیزے چلیں کہ خنجر، تیرائے چاہے پتھر، نیزے چلیں کہ خنجر، تابوت اٹھانے والے، تابوت اٹھانے والے، تابوت اٹھا رہے ہیں، تابوت مجتبی کا، شبیر لا رہے ہیں، تابوت مجتبی کا، شبیر لا رہے ہیں۔ یہ ثالثوں کے ثالث، یہ وارثوں کے وارث، یہ ثالثوں کے ثالث، یہ وارثوں کے وارث، منہ سے لہو گل کے، منہ سے لہو گل کے دنیا سے جا رہے ہیں، تابوت مجتبی کا، شبیر لا رہے ہیں۔
بے خطا مارا گیا سبت رسول دوسرا، واہ حسن سبز قبا، بے خطا مارا گیا سبت رسول دوسرا، واہ حسن سبز قبا، بے خطا مارا گیا سبت رسول دوسرا، واہ حسن سبز قبا، بے خطا مارا گیا سبت رسول دوسرا، زہر سے ٹکڑے جگر خون سے کفن لال ہوا واہ حسن سبز کہا بے خطا مارا گیا صبط رسول خون گلتے ہوئے بھائی کو بہن نے دیکھا اور تڑپ کر یہ کہا اور تڑپ تیری غربت پہ بھائی تیری زینب ہو فدا واہ حسن سبز کا بے خطا مارا گیا دوسرا واہ حسن بے خطا مارا گیا صبط رسول دوسرا ماں کے دکھ سے ابھی آزاد کہاں تھی زینب ہو گیا کیسا غضب ہو گیا باپ زندہ نہ رہا بھائی سوئے خلد چلا واہ حسن سبز کبا بے خطا مارا گیا لے دوسرا واہ حسن سبز کبا بے خطا مارا گیا کر دیے زہر حلاحل جگر کے ٹکڑے اور قاسم کے لیے کم سینی میں ہے یہ غم شام غریباں جیسا واہ حسن سبز کبا بے خطا مارا گیا واہ حسن سبز کبا بے خطا مارا گیا گھر سے ایک بار جنازہ جو نکل جاتا ہے کب وہ پھر آتا ہے کب وہ پھر آتا ہے یہ وہ تابوت ہے جو لوٹ کے گھر کو آیا واہ حسن سبز کبا بے خطا مارا گیا صبط رسول واہ حسن سبز بے خطا مارا گیا شہ نے اس وقت جو قاضی کو نہ روکا ہوتا حشر ہو جاتا بپا حشر پھر آتے نہ جنازے پہ تمہارے مولا واہ حسن سبز کبا خطا مارا گیا واہ حسن سبز کبا بے خطا مارا گیا شہ کو ریحان برادر کا جگر یاد آیا جب سرے کرب و بلا جب سرے ٹکڑے قاسم کے اٹھاتے ہوئے مولا نے کہا واہ حسن سبز کبا بے خطا مارا گیا واہ حسن سبز کبا بے خطا مارا گیا واہ حسن زہر سے ٹکڑ جگر خون سے کفن لال ہوا واہ حسن سبز کبا بے خطا مارا گیا صبط رسول دوسرا
I am Zaynab, sister of Hassan. I want to tell you that he was in pain. You martyred him, you slaughtered him, you martyred him, you slaughtered him. Oh Yazid, oh Yazid. I am Zaynab, sister of Hussein. I want to tell you that he was in pain. You martyred him, you slaughtered him, you martyred him, you slaughtered him. Oh Yazid, oh Yazid. From Kufa to Sham, the women and children go. The scorching heat shines down on their clothes. Imam Hassan tied in chains. The children's graves behind them lay. Guards around, the camels walking, not letting the children escape. One cry heard, it was hushed, or the whips crack in the dust. This was only the journey. This was only the journey. I am Zaynab, sister of Hussein. I want to tell you that he was in pain. You martyred him, you slaughtered him, you martyred him, you slaughtered him. Oh Yazid, oh Yazid. When they arrived, drums were heard, celebrating Hussein's martyrdom. People looked and saw what's new. The head of Hussein was brought into view. Captive shown on the camels. They were being brought to the palace. Stones were thrown from the people, or they would spit or giggle. This was only the beginning. This was only the beginning. I am Zaynab, sister of Hussein. I want to tell you that he was in pain. You martyred him, you slaughtered him, you martyred him, you slaughtered him. Oh Yazid, oh Yazid. Into the palace they went. The crowd would move in to catch a glimpse. Golden platters were brought in. A martyr's head on each one. When Zaynab saw Hussein صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن عليًا ولي الله أشهد أن عليًا حجة الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله صلوا على محمد وآل محمد
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله. أشهد أن عليا ولي الله وأنه حجة الله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. كذلك الله ربي. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم إني أسألك موجبات رحمتك وعزائم مغفرتك والنجاة من النار ومن كل بلية والفوز بالجنة والرضوان في دار السلام وجوار نبيك محمد عليه وآله السلام. اللهم ما بنا من نعمة فمنك، لا إله إلا أنت، أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. اللهم صل على محمد وآله. O God, I beseech you to grant me that which will ensure your mercy and make certain your forgiveness, will bring me deliverance from hellfire and from every affliction. Provide the means of winning admission into paradise, attain your approval in the abode of peace, and be the neighbor of your Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him and his family. O God, whatever blessing we enjoy comes from you. There is no God but you. I seek your forgiveness and turn to you penitently. Salawat. Allahumma.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله. أشهد أن عليا ولي الله وأنه حجة الله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر الله أكبر سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر أستغفر الله الله أكبر سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد كذلك الله ربي الله أكبر اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين الله أكبر سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر أستغفر الله الله أكبر سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر الحمد لله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد الله أكبر سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر أستغفر الله الله أكبر سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد الله أكبر سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر أستغفر الله الله أكبر سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد الله أكبر الحمد لله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم إنه ليس لي علم بموضع رزقي وإنما أطلبه بخطرات تخطر على قلبي فأجول في طلبه البلدان فأنا فيما أنا طالب كالحيران لا أدري في سهل هو أم في جبل أم في أرض أم في سماء أم في بر أم في بحر وعلى يدي من ومن قبل من وقد علمت أن علمه عندك وأسبابه بيدك وأنت الذي تقسمه بلطفك وتسببه برحمتك اللهم فصل على محمد وآله واجعل يا ربي رزقك لي واسعا ومطلبه سهلا ومأخذه قريبا ولا تعنني بطلب ما لم تقدر لي فيه رزقا فإنك غني عن عذابي وأنا فقير إلى رحمتك فصل على محمد وآله وجد على عبدك بفضلك إنك ذو فضل عظيم الله. O God, I have no knowledge of the place of my livelihood, and I seek it only through notions that cross my mind. I roam through the towns in its quest, and I am like a bewildered man in my search, not knowing whether it is in the plains or in the mountains, whether it is on the earth or in the heaven, whether on land or in sea, in whose hands and with whom. Though I know that its knowledge is with you, and its means are in your hands, and it is you who apportion it with your kindness and provide its means with your mercy. O God, bless Muhammad and his family and make my livelihood, my Lord, ample, its quest easy, and its source nearby. And do not put me to the hardship of seeking livelihood where you have not ordained it for me. For you have no need to torment me, and I stand in need of your mercy. So bless Muhammad and his family, and give liberally to this servant of yours out of your grace. Indeed, you are dispenser of a mighty grace. Salawat. Allah.
السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين، السلام على الحسن والحسين سبطي نبي الرحمة، السلام على 9 المعصومين من ولد الحسين، السلام عليك يا مولانا يا صاحب الزمان، عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وظهورك. السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته.